Hey everybody, Jared Palmer here from the Palmer Group. We're here at React Europe with Charlie Pauly from software engineer at Algolia,
Yeah.
and he's about to give a very, very cool talk on GraphQL forms. And me being the author of Formic, this seems like a really good chat to have.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
it's a very cool library. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what Frontier Forms is and how you came up with it?
Yeah, the idea of Frontier Form is to have a better form developer experience for development experience by leveraging the types that you find in GraphQL.
Okay.
And also, on top of that, having like a UI kit API that prevents that if you have a UI kit, which is a more and more common pattern in big enterprise or even more and more projects, you can use it and plug it to your form configuration.
Sure. So that, and then it just spits out. So it's config-based approach.
It's kind of
In the sense that it's like driven from a schema, from a separate SDL, or whether it be GraphQL or JSON schema. These are configuration fundamentally like based approaches, right?
yeah, but the
And
idea
how do you balance the business logic that may be like nuanced, right? Like how do you do like minimum and maximum? Like is that part of the UI? How do you override those?
Yeah. So there is three modes of usage with
Okay.
Frontier. There is the default one that is very close to Formic. When you don't have the UI kit, you have access to the full state and
Okay,
full
full state.
rendering. So render props. Then you have the second mode when you can provide the UI kit. You still have a render props, but you have access to special variable that is named kit in the render props that give you access to the rendering of each field.
Okay.
So you don't have to do like the binding of data. You just choose where you want to render the field, and you can have custom UI business logic.
That makes sense.
And the final thing, like that looks like a scaffold or form builder, like very like magic thing, it's just like a one-liner, and you let Frontier do the full rendering without any business logic.
Okay. And how do you describe? In GraphQL. How do I describe? I have a limitation of 50 lines of text for this, and I should use a single line text, or how do I do a text field? Like how do you, or is that you have to do that on your own?
Yeah. So about like validation, for now there is no proper solution.
Right.
About like what kind of component to use, it's you use the UI kit API. So the UI kit API is very close to the Redux reducer. You have a function and you say, okay, for this type of data, I want this specific component, or for this property that have this kind of name. So there is like a partial name matching or static name matching. You can say, okay, for this property of this form, I want this component.
Okay. That makes sense.
And for all fields that are named rating, I want the rating component.
That makes total sense. And that's cool because you can store, obviously the schema is stored in the sense it's a runtime thing and it can change over time.
Yeah.
How do you find, do you find that people work faster with this method? And like what was your like constraint? Like what were you hitting? What were you building at the time when you came up with it?
For me, so in my presentation, I'm going to talk about like the story of how I went to this conclusion. But the idea was like when you have many forms and you have like a designer that provides design system and that all your forms look alike, then you start thinking about having a UI kit. So it's not really like for early stage, more like for medium stage of startup or above, for front-end applications that are well structured and that have a UI kit. And then if you have UI kit, it's like super fast because you just give the name of a mutation or you give a mutation. We know what is the data. We know how to render it because we have a UI kit and this pattern matching thing to act as a glue. I don't have a real feedback. The truth about that is like the project is just getting started.
Yeah.
So there is no like concrete real user on it. So
Okay.
So we'll see.
Hopefully Algolia very soon.
Yeah.
I get a
maybe.
lot of forms. I'm a big
Yeah.
Algolia user. Love it.
Yeah.
It's great
First,
product.
I have to convince to migrate to GraphQL, which is
There's
another
that.
challenge.
That's
but,
another challenge too. But
yeah,
it seems like I tell you what, with suspense and all the stuff coming, it seems like it's probably in everybody's future anyways. So it's a great place to be. What other projects are you working on, or is this like your sole focus?
This is my only open source project.
Okay.
Because I have a lot to do like at Algolia. I'm working on integrating Algolia, so the search engine, in the Shopify on the ecosystem.
Okay.
So I'm doing like a full stack thing, and mainly I'm working like for 6 months like on the data pipeline. So receiving like waybooks from inventory updates, having a lot of processing enrichment step, and put it in Algolia.
Super cool, man.
So
Dude, that form thing is awesome. I've thought about this for a while. I've never seen it done, and it makes so much more sense to do it in that sort of like convention over like good defaults, and then let yourself use reducers and stuff. It just seems so smart. I can't wait to see your presentation, man.
And thanks. And we'll see in the future how does it behave with the community, and maybe we'll be able to make a pull request on Formic. Maybe we'll add that to add this
look,
feature
we have
on
Yup.
Formic.
Yup's very cool. Yup is the validation library on Formic. It's no reason why we couldn't invent something brand new.
It's just data in the end. So
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks so much for coming along. How
Thank
can
you.
people follow you? How can people follow you?
On Twitter
Yeah.
with Ravis Charly, and GitHub with Witty Developer,
And-
and also on Honest Engineering, which is a blog I've started
Oh, very cool.
with friends. And my personal blog is on Medium with a lot of articles on GraphQL and especially TypeScript.
Well,
That's all.
Big fan. And what's the how do people find the form library on GitHub? Frontier Forms? Where is
yeah,
it?
it's Frontier Forms.
Okay.
So there is organization. For now, there is
yeah.
one repo.
Okay.
Because the thing, the idea in the end is like the architecture of the library is made to be agnostic at the core, to work with many type of data, Swagger, and Vue.js, Angular. It's just like in the end, it's the same. It's close to React in the way of working. You have renderer on the side, type of data on the left side, and in the middle you have core that works with JSON schema and AGV to validate the data. So
Smart.
Yeah, Frontier Form.
Very cool. Well, thanks so much for joining us. We're here at React Europe 2019.
Thanks.
See you next time.